All right, welcome to the up close shrub show. So this is up close leaves, shrub, a little bit of flower action. Real quick, I'll kind of show you what it looks like. It looks like that, pretty much. And so, pretty simple ways of doing this is using a bright brush for starters, and I could use like a lot darker or a lot bigger brush. For a green, yellow first, and just a dot of black, like a little black I'm using. Barely any black, and I'll turn this thing pretty green. A little touch more. It's like an earthy green. So I'm gonna start here, and at first, I'm gonna start with a really dark background leaves, so the whole thing is like a dark base. At first, before the light gets through it, come in here, going back and forth a little bit. Once again, this is just black and yellow more or less. Really dark down here. And at first, this is like showing you about like the overall size of it. After I have the size done, hold on one second. Let me try to lower that a little bit. All right, so it's a little hard to see, but that's okay. It is recording. Then up here, this is about where my end of my bush shrub thing is going to be. And you notice how I'm letting some of the light show through? It's not a solid mass. All right, now the next thing I want to do is around the perimeter. Right now it's kind of choppy and fuzzy. I'm going to take the black and the green. I'll do the same process with using the leaves. So here's how I do the leaves on this thing. So I'll come in here. I'll melt the kit a little bit, get it so it's got a nice and flat edge. And I'll start here at the edge, like this. I'll come down, bend it down like this. Then I'll bring it back up again. That's half of a leaf. On the other half, I could make it a little bit lighter. I'll do that later. Come over here. That's the other half of that one leaf. Super big leaf, that's okay. And over here on this thing, I'll do the same thing on this part. All the way down, spin the brush. Once again, concentrating on the perimeter leaves. All right, and I could have made them smaller, scales all the same. And there's another leaf over here that'll be covered by a flower eventually. I'll do a smaller one over here. These are more angled, a little more on to the side. So I'm not going all vertical leaves on this thing. And then if you can see that on the bottom, I should raise it up a little bit. Hold on one second. There we go. That's better. You can see it a little easier now. Then on these leaves, they'll start angling down, so they're not all pointing up. On the top of the bush, yeah, they're pointing up a little bit. As they come down, they're going to be angling a little bit more on the downside. Another big leaf here. One brush stroke equals half a leaf. Super easy to do, as long as you're patient. And don't try to rush it. It's faster to go slow, do it right, do it once, and try to jam it out. And you have like a bunch of green mess. All right, so this is watch this. Start here, squish, spin the brush a little bit, and it comes to a point. That's one half of the leaf. This side will do the same thing. That's the other half of the leaf. So 2 brush strokes for a leaf. On the small leaves, though, it's just 1 brush stroke for an entire leaf. I'll show you that here in a second. Like right here, do a small leaf right here, a little baby leaf. Skinny, wide. Turn the brush again, spin it. 1 leaf. And notice how I'm changing values, though. So some of them are a little bit light green, dark green. Maybe I'll add a little more yellow to it. And all of these leaves in here, these are going to be like smaller ones that are coming up here. So I'll do like a small leaf, peeking up over here. And before I do some of those really bright, high contrasting ones, what I'll do is I'll make sure that I have all the leaves in here. So I'll start with the dark leaves, then I'll get lighter and lighter. Here's a leaf kind of coming up close. And then I'll go back to the darker leaves. A little black, permanent green, and yellow. Barely be able to see it, but I want to get rid of those bad brush strokes from my base coat. replacing those with larger leaves. All right, some smaller ones over there, larger one over here. In process, I'll speed this up a little bit so you kind of see it. Hopefully when it's done. All right, now I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I'll add a little more yellow to it, so make a lighter version of it, and I'll show you to add the detail after I've done this. So this is like layer number 2. Layer number 1 is the dark green, almost black. Layer 2, we're getting some of the other leaves that are going to be on the foreground. All right, another big leaf here. All right, so that's how to do it, and I'll speed the process up. Once again, make sure I get through everything in the magic show allotted time. All right, so that's good for the base coat. Now I'm gonna do my second layer. So this is a lighter layer, a little more of the permanent green, a little more yellow, and heck, I'm feeling kind of silly today. I'm gonna add a little bit of white in even as well. Getting a little bit on the crazy side. Then with these, so watch this, here's half of a leaf. On this part, I could do half a leaf here. It's a little bit brighter, so I'm just gonna only add highlights to the lower portion of some of these leaves. Because the leaves are kind of cup shaped, right? So if they're cup shaped, you're gonna have like one side a little bit brighter, one side a little bit darker to create that depth of those leaves. I'll have one over here as well, kind of coming up at an angle. Oh, it's getting so pretty. Watch this little pretty leaf here. So this is one side of one leaf. One brush stroke, that's all it takes. All right, and I'll come up here, do the same thing. Now we're starting to get some more contrast in there. The paint that I'm using is pretty wet. It's not like a dry brush technique, so the paint can fall off the brush really easy. All right, here I'll do the same. I'm gonna lighten that one half up even a little more. Then watch this. I'm gonna do a little baby leaf to add some contrast right here. So I'll start off skinny, wider, then skinny again. Go back into the highlights. All right, so now I'll go fast, speed it up. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so that's that part. Now, let that dry a little bit. Now I'll take a tint, I'll mix up a little bit more of on a smaller brush, smaller bright brush. I'm gonna take white to make the leaves look a little more reflective. Just like a little bit of white on there. This is gonna be some of the veins in the leaf. So watch this, here it goes. Mix up white, a little bit of a tint. Getting some of the veins in the sides of the leaf. You don't have to do all of them, but it's like some of them. And this is a fast version. If this was mine, I would go a lot slower, obviously, but it's not my project, so I don't care. What the heck? All right, so those leaves could be almost done right there for that part. A huge flower right there. Then I could take a small round brush, almost a pure white, and I could go through the center of some of these things. Center of that. Make the leaf look a little bit on the waxy side. Skinny little highlight. Down the stem of these leaves, if you put a little bit of a highlight on it, not much, will really make it stand out and go pippity pop, which is kind of what you're looking for. Pippity pop, pippity pop, pippity pop. All right, so now I have one more leaf to fix. That's this top one up here, just kind of like a little bit on the vague side. Go a little bit brighter on this side of the leaf. And darker but smooth. See that rough spot right there? I'm gonna get rid of that. And trim that out. All right. That is the end of the leaf show for now. I'll add more details to it later after I get the flowers on there. Then I'll like clean that up a little bit. But that is up close leaf show.